Welcome back to WTF Walk the Floors, all things hospitality training. This is Michele Kline with Kline Hospitality, and I'm here with my co-hostess, Stephanie Ledger with First Rate Hospitality. Stephanie, how are you today?
Very well. How are you? And we have our first WTF moment right off the bat because we are at episode 50. 50
That
episodes.
is awesome.
Woo! So close to our 1 year celebration.
So close, so close. Very exciting. 50 is a big number. But what are we going to talk about today? We had Halloween 2 nights ago.
Yes.
And we're excited about sharing some of our WTF type of moments in the industry, right? So why don't we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, so we'll kick it off with starting off with the good. And I'd have to say for Halloween on the good, when it comes to employee culture, engagement, it's always fun to see the pumpkin decorating contest.
Absolutely. Any holiday is a great opportunity to engage with a team, engage with a guest. Halloween is a great one because there are really no other strings attached to the holiday specifically.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just fun, a day where you're passing out candy. You may engage with other local schools that come and do a tour around the hotel. Most properties are opened for you to play and dress up as well. And it's just fun to being able to see the decorative pumpkins. And even with the engineering using some kind of power and electricity, or we even have housekeeping using products from the guest rooms. But it's really cool of how creative the departments can get.
Absolutely. And the pumpkin decoration competition, that took a while. The pumpkin decoration competition is a really great tradition, and it doesn't seem to die, right?
No.
Like team members continue to ask for it year over year. It's super, super cool. I've already started seeing some of the posts on LinkedIn from some of our colleagues that show what they did over the weekend, and that was really, really cool to see.
Yeah.
So I think that my favorite thing about Halloween at hotels, resorts is how team members buy into dressing up.
Yeah.
And even though we set obviously some boundaries, we don't want to have, there's specific things that we don't want to see.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, making sure that your face is visible and so on. My most favorite costume so far has been a cards dealer in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember he came into the HR office one time asking if he had this very specific costume he wanted to wear, but the costume wouldn't allow him to have his face showing, right? He had to cover his face. And that was an absolute no, non-negotiable. So although the idea was super cool, I had to turn him away. So then I went and I walked the floors on the day off to try to see what did he finally dress up. He had his entire uniform from the waist up. He looked exactly like a dealer. And I'm like, oh, I mentioned his name. Did you not dress up? And he's like, you haven't walked around just yet. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean, right? So I started making my way around the entire section where all the table games were, where he was assigned. And I happened to notice that from the waist down, he wasn't dressed like a dealer. He was wearing boxer briefs, right? Or boxer underwear. And it had all cards, little cards, the drawings of cards with hearts, and he was wearing socks with those little, I don't even know what the English word for this is, but the little things that will hold the socks up.
Oh, clips.
Right, from the boxers. It was so cute and funny, but it was still very classy, and he pulled it off just fine. It was amazing. It was so much fun. I think that he even ended up getting like first, second, or third prize or award for the costume contest. He was so good. He pulled
I
it off.
I like it also too, especially when sometimes you would have some of the staff like dresses up as the general manager or as their boss, or their typical boss maybe that wears a very traditional blue suit on Mondays and black on Tuesdays, and or how they put their tie or their handkerchief. And it's always fun when the staff, kind of can engage in, doing a little fun of who their boss is as well.
Totally. And here's the other one that I'm sure you've seen before is when departments decide to dress up all together.
Oh, yes. The
So there's a
minions.
theme to it. Yes,
Yes.
that is so much fun and so much fun for them and such a great opportunity for them to connect on a
Mhm.
different level because it's all the pre-planning. It's fun all the way to the execution.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I like it too when we're seeing the teams get together or even the executive level, because even, it's a big engagement for them to engage with one another of like doing Scooby Doo, like who's going to be the different characters. And what, as a line staff is watching the managers come together as well, because we're so used to maybe they're at each other's throat in the middle of the day trying to get, turning the house, but it's fun when they can get together too.
Super cool. Now let's talk about the bad.
Oh, the bad. All right. So the bad here, I would have to say it's 10 years now that Hurricane Sandy in New York and Jersey came on shore, which is was supposed to be us getting ready for Halloween, for also to the New York Marathon, which is a big tourist weekend. And then here we are, where they were predicting that the hurricane wasn't going to be too bad, but it was definitely coming. And so here we were having to take on other hotel guests because our hotel was close to where the crane had started to fall. And so we are still far enough that we didn't have to evacuate us, but we had to take on from local hotels. And I've been through many hurricanes living here in Florida. And I'd have to say that one up there in New York is so much different because the buildings are built much differently.
Mm.
The way the forecasters predicted was much different. And also, too, it was, the height of season as well, that, many people up there that are traveling there don't, what it's like to be at a hurricane. And here we are a week later, and then we have a snowstorm, which was the craziest week of going from Halloween to a snowstorm. So,
So
very
how did you
crazy.
celebrate Halloween that night? Could you guys do anything or I mean even indoors or
Yeah.
did you have to evacuate or what was the deal?
No, it was pretty much canceled, because half of the city was still without power.
Mm,
So and traditionally in New York, we have a Halloween parade where everyone dresses up. It's like your own parade that you get to be able to walk in and show
mhm.
off your costumes, or even if you just want to be a spectator and watching everyone go down with their Halloween outfits. But we had to basically cancel Halloween just, for security purposes. People were still recovering from the hurricane, and or if they evacuated, couldn't even get into the city. So it was crazy, and very fortunate, since I know how hurricanes go. They were asking for volunteers to work at the hotel. I was like, yes, I will. And turns out that my apartment was out of power for that week, so I was very fortunate to being able to stay at the hotel. It's crazy when you're working 24/7,
Yeah.
starting off with breakfast and making sure the guests are taken care of, and now you're trying to be creative and entertain them because they can't go anywhere, and then going to dinner and working with, the kitchen as well with what we had still left, because it wasn't like we were getting any shipment, for the new day. So we really had to become creative too. And it was definitely a bad time, but the hotel, the city all came together to really making sure that we were able to get through it. And I think that's also too what, Southwest Florida is going through right now, with the unfortunate of them going through the hurricane just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And how having contingency plans in place
Yeah.
makes a big difference. And the fact that you do have team members that are engaged and willing to stay out of the love for hospitality and making sure that our guests are taken care of. I love that story. Thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that. Now, let's touch on the ugly.
Ah. Well, the ugly is the day after Halloween, and especially for the housekeeping department, because now they're the ones that have to go into the rooms, and ones that may have been staying in the hotel for like a Halloween party, and now they decide to get ready with their glitter, their hair dye, their costume makeup, and
Crazy
all.
color makeup,
Yes. And now all of that
difficult to
is
remove.
all over the room. And probably even half of their costumes still left there when they check out.
For sure. Feathers, you name it.
Yeah, and so
Handcuffs.
it's definitely a rough day for housekeeping, and, just like any other day, you never know what you're gonna be walking into, but it also too seems to be the time that the guests think that they're funny, and because of the Halloween, spirit and weekend, that they're like, "Oh, I'm going to wrap up all the sheets so it looks like a dead body," basically, or, like, with the cord wrapped around it, or, or moving things around, whatever it may be. But, you walk in and you're like, okay, well, how original? Like, this isn't the first time. But then at the same time, we still have to take every situation serious, because we never know. But it just seems
I've
to
been on
be,
the receiving side where I
yeah.
had to take the situation seriously, and I can tell you, not cool, people.
No, no,
Not cool.
no, no. And so it's just, yeah, it's definitely the day after Halloween is, I mean, any holiday, weekends, high occupancy, um, or depending of what's going on in the city, it's always, it's really a hard time, I feel like, for housekeeping. And then even for the front desk, because everyone may have gone out a little bit too much the night before. Now they
Mhm.
want the late checkouts, and you have like corporate business coming in for the week. So it always can be a rough day the day after. Maybe even for the
Lovely.
staff.
Yeah. Like any holiday. Yes, exactly. Plus your staff is probably has not slept enough hours and so on. Absolutely. All right, this was
Yes.
beautiful. We hope that you got some tips and tricks on how to deal with Halloween. I would say, Stephanie, just stay alert, stay engaged, have fun with it, right? Why
Yes.
not? This is a great
Yes.
opportunity to get everyone on the same page for once and have a little fun.
Yeah. I completely agree. Well, this was a great one, and we'll see everyone on the next episode.
Thank you.